All right, good afternoon. We've already identified quorum, so pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Opens Meeting Act, notice is hereby given that a meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, BCIC, will be held on Monday, 23rd, 2025 at 5:36 p.m. at eBridge Center for Business and Conversation, located at 1304 East Adams Street, Brownsville, Texas, Cameron County. First item on the agenda is to call to order. If I say your name, please say present here. Dr. Rose Gowan.
Present virtually.
Cesar Lopez. Murat Abu Salim.
Present.
Sergio Martinez.
Present.
Tracy Wicked. She is an excused absent. Mark Horowitz.
Here.
Eva Garcia.
Here.
Thank you. Item number 2 is public comments. At the moment, we do not have any public comments, so we will be moving on to item number 3, consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item may be taken off the consent agenda by chair or for individual consideration. 3.1, we have the approval of the meeting minutes. 3.2, approval of accounts payable. 3.3, consideration and action to approve the revised bank resolution authorizing the issuance of updated bank signature cards and granting authority to sign BCIC checks and ACH payments to the BCIC Board of Directors and the CEO/President. 3.4, consideration and action to approve a performance agreement with Ethan Atlan of Accucell Biotechnology, LLC, a 2024 graduate of the Startup Texas program, in the amount of $10,000 for participation in the SBIR STTR Accelerator Program in partnership with the Texas A&M Engineering Experiment Station. And 3.5, approve the following individuals to incur travel expenses for the following dates.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can we have discussion about the travel? I just have a question. Okay. So, Convention and Visitors Bureau is already going. Why do 3 staffers from BCIC need to go?
The city offered to extend the invitation to us. They thought because USL is actually looking at Sports Park as maybe a development team or have regional tournaments using the sports park, so they thought it was worthwhile for BCIC to go and experience what USL is and what their new stadium looks like and what kind of programs are happening, and then also attend the summit, and then also be introduced to some of the key stakeholders of USL.
But we don't own the sports park anymore.
We own the undeveloped land, though.
Are they going to use the undeveloped land?
That hasn't been determined, but it could be a possibility. Also, as well as, you know, us funding sports regional tournaments is possibly in our strategic plan. This just lines up to be able to know the key stakeholders of these type of tournaments.
So your goal is to go there and really to secure an expansion team?
Not to secure, but to actually talk about it, if that's a possibility, discussion, but to get to know the key stakeholders.
Do you need 3 staffers to do that? I mean, you have CVB staff, you have a commissioner going. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, like, you know, how necessary a lot of these meetings are, especially if 3 people are going.
Well, I think it's important, especially for myself and for Eric, since he's a community development manager. And I think it's also important for the vice president to go. So that way we can all collectively, you know, if there's different sessions, we can all collectively participate.
Okay.
I'll continue my motion. If no further questions or comments, I would like to make a motion to approve 3.1 through 3.5.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Next item.
Item 4, presentations. Update on the City of Brownsville Quality of Life projects presented by the City of Brownsville.
Push. Did I do it? Green light? Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. And also thank you for supporting the City of Brownsville's quality of life initiatives and programs with the funding. We'll just kick off right here. And I'm going to hit this beautiful button. It worked well. Excellent. And this is just an overview of some of the projects. We're going to recap some of the 2024 projects that are in motion at this time that was funded gracefully by BCIC. And then we're going to chime into what is 2025 projects. As of last year, these were the projects that were funded, the master planning, both for one for downtown and one for the Parks, Health, and Recreation Department. Also, our Musco Lighting Replacement Program, which has been completed, Gonzalez Park Recreation Restroom and Pavilion Renovation Project, which is, we're going to have ribbon cutting this upcoming week. And the Tiny Forest Initiative that is in the midst right now. And then we're going to tie into La Posada Park, as you know, is a key facility both historically and for the community in the southmost region of our city. Downtown Master Plan. This was, we're in starting phases. We've obtained our consultant, which is, and I'm not going to pronounce this right, Freese and Nichols. Freese and Nichols, okay. And they've already been selected, and at this time, we're going to start up the actual process of moving forward in the master plan. And so there's a kickoff meeting and so forth that is rolling out as how the master plan is going to roll out to the stakeholders and evolve throughout the process. Next, we have the Parks, Health, and Recreation Master Plan. As you can see, we're 60% in progress. We just got a draft recently just to review what stakeholders, because we did our first round of stakeholder meetings, which we're excited about. We did a lot of community outreach. As you know, many of these faces here sitting in front of me today actually participated with our surveys and our pop-ups, so we're really excited about how many people we captured input from in the community. That draft is going to be kind of tweaked out and massaged out with the data, and then we're going to come back in the process, come back to the stakeholders and obtain some more input and be able to really fine-tune the draft that we currently have. Next up is the Musco replacement lighting.
Sean, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
You want to say for the record how many, and it doesn't have approximately, how many surveys were filled out and how many hits to the website there were?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for chiming in, and hoping you're recovering very well. Like the new hairdo. There was over 1,500 survey participants, which is, even for major cities, they normally get, so in comparison, a city of our size normally gets maybe 200 to 500 participants, so we shadowed that at least by 3 times the amount, so we're very proud of that and excited. And that was the intention when we met with Stantec and we came up with the strategy of doing in-house pop-ups combined with what the firm was going to do with us. And I think the results speak for the initiative that we started out with that strategy to get this type of result, and we did, so we're excited about that.
Quick question.
Yeah.
On the drafts, for the parkland policy and the
Hold on.
master plan first draft, are those only going to be available to city employees for review, or will it also be available to the public?
No, the
drafts.
The drafts will be part of the stakeholder meetings.
Great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Our Musco Lighting Replacement Program, as you may be aware, close to $1 million was invested into this lighting infrastructure at 2 facilities, at Olivera and at Gonzalez Park. These projects have been completed, and it's a wonderful addition and improvement to both of the facilities. This was the Gonzalez Park restroom and pavilion renovation. And this project right here is at the back end of the race. It's going to be completed very shortly. And I believe within the next couple of days, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. And then there's just going to be a few minor things of touch up on the finalization of it. And we should have this sometime early July open to the public for use. So we're super excited about this. Tiny Forest, where this reconfirm the commitment of that 50-50 match. So the overall project's $1.5 million. The 50-50 match would be $750,000. So we just wanted to make sure we reconfirm that commitment from BCIC as we're going through the process of reapplying with a tweaked strategy, because we did do the legwork to meet with them and find out how we can improve that application. Now we're moving towards our, some of our general projects. And right now, I do have 2 of my counterparts from both the airport and B Metro. Would it be all right if I go through your projects, or did you want to step up? Okay. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure. So again, these are quality of life projects, so they not only in the Parks and Recreation Department or in our trails and our connectability, but also at B Metro and at the airport. The project that was funded was a playground at the airport, and right now they are in about, it's noting 60%, but I know they're further along than that. They do have the apparatus, and at this time, it's more of coordinating the installation and so forth. So that's going to be a ribbon cutting very soon, and all of us can play in the AC at the airport on the playground soon. Next, we have bus stop improvements, and this was roughly a $1 million award. And as you see, 26 shelters have already been delivered. Right now, they have commissioned a design firm, and they're moving forward with that. And I believe they're finalizing their list of the key and most needed bus stops to address, and they're triaging that inventory so they can finalize this project. But that is in motion at full force. We have the shade tree project along the West Trail. This is roughly a $200,000 project. This is one that we're working again with the EPMO, EPW, bless you, and our Greens Division. And this project is, again, it's moving forward. It's one of those projects that we're in design phase. The design phase for these projects, these key tree planting projects or canopy expansion projects is making sure that we have the correct water and water through different techniques or standard traditional techniques to ensure that the planting is viable and has an opportunity to grab hold and grow and function well. So that's what the design phase is for this one.
Sean?
Yes.
So the tiny forest, the one from round one, where is that located?
That is a great question. I believe that's on, it's the southmost trail? West, yes, okay, so it's behind me. It's the west almost, and that one is the one that we've already started bringing, we're looking at if we're gonna do the technique of the water bags that will, be able to irrigate over time, because it's timed out how that bag releases water. And then, again, all of these projects are going to be looked at similar in the way that we're identifying how do we get water to the new plant.
Okay, I lost Sean. I can't hear him anymore.
Oh, no, it's on.
Okay.
The technology decided to turn me off. I was talking too much. I apologize. Uh, Going back, so we're looking at the technique of how we can bring the water to the new plantings. Either it's something situated to water over time with a bag. Is it a portable unit that our staff comes out and waters on a timed schedule? Or is it that we're bringing water by irrigation out there? And both of these two projects that we're mentioning are in that phase. How do we get the water there and get it properly to be able to give it opportunity to be successful in its growth? Going to move on to 2025, and our first project here is we brought in an architectural and engineering firm to help us with these projects. One of our main objectives is to deliver BCIC funded projects swiftly, effectively, and within the most fiscal way, but within a reasonable amount of time. So again, we perceive all of our projects being done within the next 12 months. There's some that will creep over that time frame, and there's a handful of them that will be well below that time frame, and we're excited about that. This is not, give me 1 second, I apologize. These are out of sort here. Okay, so the first one up is an exciting one, and is one that I'm sure that everybody wish we had installed today, which are splash pads. But this project right here is about $1.1 million, almost $1.2 million. We did group them this way because of the type of engineering that's needed or design work. And this one project that we have here under the umbrella of this program is Morningside to renovate some fields and improve the playing surface. It's also to add 2 splash pads, one at Kabler Park and one at Olivera Park. I believe both of them are going to be great additions, and they also are going to help provide equability to our city by having them on both sides of the city, as far as that play feature and that water feature. Yeah, my slides are not, here we go. Playgrounds. This right here is Olivera Playground and Kabler Playground. The Kabler Playground is going to be upgraded because of the heavy use of it. So there's going to be additional play apparatus added to it. Olivera, that playground is being replaced. That was the one that we had some fire damage, some other vandalism to it. But it was also a playground that was outdated. And that's the larger ADA playground, and we'll be shifting a good portion of that $400,000 that was allotted to this project here towards that playground, so that we can bring a playground that is a good replacement of what was damaged and what was removed, but also the ADA accessibility.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
How are you going to assure that these playgrounds don't get damaged the way the other ones were? You know, y'all gonna have some kind of security or cameras or things like that to make, to,
Well, there's a couple of components going on at the same time. We are bringing high-speed fiber to all of our locations over time. I don't know in the schedule where that facility is going to be at, but we are doing that, so that will allow us to have the camera system.
She can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? It's on now? Oh, can you hear me, Dr. Galvin?
can you hear us?
Can you hear
Yes, this is
Sean,
green.
Rose?
No. No, sometimes she'll sit still a little bit.
Dr. Gowan, can you hear me?
No, she's there.
Okay.
She's blinking.
Dr. Gowan, can you hear us?
And we can't hear her.
We can't hear her. No, that's the incorrect amount. Nate, that was incorrect amount. No, Nate, that's incorrect.
While they look it up, remind me, so how were the previous playgrounds vandalized? Did they catch fire or?
It all depends. We've had different types of vandalism to different playgrounds. So one of the challenges is when you don't have enough activity of one type of activity, you'll get another type of activity. So our initiatives is not only to put new playgrounds in, but make sure that we have an environment where we have more positive activity, and that will deter adverse activity. Additionally, we're bringing high-speed internet to all of our facilities over time. That'll allow us to have the camera system that would help us with that. In addition to that, Olivera is one of the facilities that, as I showed in the last phase, we have upgraded all the lighting. So now you have a facility that's, better lit, so that deters adverse activity as well. So there's different components. There's not one element that removes individuals from vandalizing playgrounds, as an example. We have to do several things simultaneously to get the right recipe to help mitigate that. Yes. Yes, one of the slides in regards to Sports Park.
No, the
Oh.
round two.
Which one?
Round two amount, like if you go up to the slide where you sum up the amount for the round two.
Okay.
So this is 2025. Correct. This is the 25 is correct. Go
Okay.
back, please, to
Okay.
the previous ones. This one. Here.
Okay.
What do you mean by round two? This is 2024 round?
Two rounds last year.
We did 2 rounds last year.
Yeah,
Yes.
but there is one from 2023.
No,
No.
they were both 24. One was in January, February, and the other one was in April.
Isn't that included in the round 224 project funding?
Yeah, we went ahead and
We know that the project from round one have been delayed, and I'm glad to hear that there is attention to expedite the process and hopefully get on time. But my question was for the new ones that we just approved this year for 2025, are we anticipating similar delays, or the progress should be done in a more efficient manner to
Yes, to your second part. So there was a strategy before coming to BCIC for this funding in 2025, and we're executing that strategy. As an example, a few slides prior, I showed you the splash pads. We've already been out there with surveys. We're having surveys done. We have had the company out, and we've had the engineers out. So that legwork before a shovel hits the ground is already in the midst of working. So we're shrinking our timeframes on purpose because the strategy was to deliver these projects in a reasonable timeframe. And that reasonable timeframe was the 12 months, which some will slide. I stated earlier, will drift a little bit above that because of maybe community input, maybe certain engineering design that's necessary, but a lot of these projects are gonna now drift below the 12-month timeframe because of the strategy that the city had prior to even coming to BCIC and asking for this funding. Yes, sir. I'm gonna move on to ADA update. And this is for some of our existing playgrounds where we don't have connectability from the sidewalk to the first play surface. And this is just to ensure that our playgrounds are more accessible to children of all ranges and capacities. Restroom renovations, we have 4 different facilities on here. These are projects that are going to renovate our restrooms, make them more functional, safe, and appealing. And yes, restrooms can be appealing to the public. And they're spread around throughout the city so that we have more equability. We're improving restrooms and facilities throughout the city, not in one region versus another.
Question on restroom maintenance. So then how does it work? Like, does the staff check on the restrooms? Like, is there some spot checking that happens for the conditions of the restrooms?
So our staff maintains the restrooms. So I have part staff that go out, they do the dry goods, and they do the trash, and they do janitorial services. But then we sent our project team out there, and we have a project manager in-house, my department does, thankfully. And we started triaging, and then, voicing of concerns from individuals or staff that maintain it. They'll point out some things that are needed there, and we went ahead and we triaged, and that's when we went and said, okay, these are the ones that we want to start off with, and that's where you got those for. And obviously, that leads me to next time we come to ask for the next round, hopefully it is round 2, next round, we'll have a different list and additional restrooms, of course. Next we have, that's restrooms, I'm going there, I apologize. General park inventory and improvement upgrades. This is a need across the entire park inventory, but right now we've been focusing on trash receptacles, benches with some type of shade capacity, and then water fountains. So we're trying to address the fundamental need of our park goers, where to be able to ensure that we have cleanliness by having trash receptacles, having somewhere to sit and take a moment and a break and get some type of refreshment through a water fountain.
Are the results from the survey matching what some of the findings or recommendations?
Yes, they are. Right now, a lot of what you're going to see, and I think the individuals that participated here, I'm looking at Eva because I know one of her things were really put a lot of energy and effort into maintaining and refurbishing what we currently have in our inventory. And that's what this line item, this project helps us do right here. Brownsville Sports Park, I'm gonna I'm gonna caution you that number was a mistype, and I apologize. BCIC was gracious enough to fund this project at $1.57 million. And in that funding, we have retrofitting of the lighting, upgrading of our fencing, replacing that and netting at the softball diamonds, also upgrading irrigation, and then rebuilding or replacing shade structures at the baseball diamond, which is, we have 5 fields over there. And then this is the highlight of the week that I was pointing out, that this Friday at 11 a.m. at Gonzalez Park, we will be doing the ribbon cutting for that beautiful restroom and pavilion that BCIC helped fund. And of course, everybody's invited to, relish in the moment, but also be able to bring in a new era of restrooms and pavilion that will be heavily used at Gonzalez Park by the families and the community within that region and in our city. Noble is bringing, who is our contractor, contractor for that project, will be funding some trees being planted and hot dogs, and it'll be a party. As well as you did fund a similar project at Olivera Park, and our contractor there for that project is Spa Glass, and that project's moving along as well, and within the next several weeks, we'll have that, a ribbon cutting for that. There was a slight difference in differences between the two contractors, one because the contract timing to be issued out, and also we had some MEP, which is plumbing movement at Olivera, that we had to remedy before the project could really kick off.
Thank you, Sean. Does
Yes,
anyone
ma'am.
have questions for Sean?
You're
Sean,
welcome.
thank you so much for your time and for the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. There you go.
Thank you. Moving on to presentation B, RGV Startup Week 2025 with Nathan Burkhart and Nelson Amado.
It's an IP issue. We got new internet, and we didn't think that it would be an issue with all of this. So the IP issues is, it's probably a fail-safe because he's using so much bandwidth that it's like triggering a cutoff, how are we to have thought of that in advance? So. I mean, I have it on my, I had it on here, let me.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes?
Okay, all right, it's working again. Okay, Dr. Gowan, apologies, we got a new internet provider, and there's some issues with our IP address that we didn't foresee when we got this new provider last week. I won't name the provider. I'll go through this really quickly. 2025 was a really great year for RGV Startup Week. This is our second annual conference. This conference was really designed in part to showcase everything that we're doing here at eBridge and also promote that ecosystem of entrepreneurship that we have building here within Brownsville and throughout the Rio Grande Valley. These are our highlights by day. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we kicked it off in Harlingen with a boot camp. On Saturday, we also had a really great downtown sunset ride where we were able to
ride throughout downtown, check out some big related projects. We went to the Samano building with CDCB, El Jardín with HACB, and we also got to bike through the zoo, so it was really great. We're going to do that again in this fall, unrelated to Startup Week, because it was such a good ride. We just need the weather to get a little bit better. Excuse me. Sunday, we had our boot camp pitch event, and then Monday through Friday, we had a wide array of events here, all of which that are listed there. Clearly, all of you were available for the Vicente Fox event, which was really great. We had Her Texas take over on Friday like we did before. The 2 for $2,000 was a really great pitch event on Tuesday. It was great in that it wasn't BCIC funding that went to it, but it was actually a startup that was born here at eBridge that went back and hosted this event and provided some funding. Because it recognizes that this is a workplace for us. Our website traffic was up over, I can't really see it here, I think it's 70% this time from last year, or is it 30%? 78%. We were really good at getting sponsorships this year. All of those individuals that you see there were listed as sponsors, especially with Arca Continental Coca-Cola. I'll do the breakdown as to the cost of each sponsorship towards the end. We had over 1,600 people register. That's separate from the 250 students and faculty that joined us specifically for the Vicente Fox event. So we doubled our registrants from last year, which is great, but don't hold us to that. I think that's kind of like our plateau. I don't think we're going to be able to like match, break that number for next year, but we definitely should match it or come close. We had 6 cities. We had over 95 sessions, 168 speakers, 123 hours of activity. At the time of, what date did we get this information, Nelson? The week after. So as of the week after, we had over 19,000 minutes of watch time and over 966, close to 1 million of social media content views, which is really great.
Can I ask a question on these
Yeah.
metrics here? Are they related to the whole region or just what was occurring with Brownsville?
So these metrics here are related specifically to the social pages for Rio Grande Valley Startup Week, but the other metrics, this metric and this metric are related just to Brownsville.
Okay, thank you.
Last year, we compared our year 1 to year 6 of San Antonio Startup Week, and it was this slide that was actually mentioned specifically in the award that we got from the International Economic Development Council. It's our second ever gold award for, from IEDC for Startup Week. And what was cool is this year they actually let us see the comments of the anonymous judges, and they pointed out that they really liked this specific slide in our presentation. So I wanted to copy that slide and compare it for the year 2 side by side. We had, last year 787 registered attendees. This year we had 1,600. Over 500,000 social media reach, and this year we had 6 cities and over 168 speakers. Here's some media coverage that we received throughout the week. And lastly, here's our budget breakdown. So last year, we only received 15,000 in cash sponsorships. This year, we received 55,500. And I'm sorry, it's so small. We had 21,000 in kind. This year, we only had 15,000 in kind. But we still surpassed our goals with cash sponsorships. Thank you. It's really hard to see on this TV, unfortunately. We did surpass some costs that we did not expect. So we're already kind of looking ahead for next year, but all in, we have $11,000 rolling over for next year. Our goal is to get to self-sustaining, which would be $50,000 to roll over. So we need to increase sponsorships by at least 20,000 and decrease overall costs by about 20,000 as well.
So how much of those items, okay, so half that money is from our budget?
No, 55,000 is purely in cash sponsorships.
No, but I mean, you have RGSW line item 50,000.
Uh-huh.
That is.
That is a line item from our budget, yeah.
So the next line down, that's also.
The special speaker series is specific to the Vicente Fox event that we decided to schedule during Startup Week, but that is also from our line item as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
72 from our budget.
Yeah.
And then, but we got another, so we Alamo Angels line item, that's also from our budget?
Yeah, that was just to cover the costs specific to Alamo Angels travel for some special events that we had.
Okay, so 74.
Yeah.
So, but the rest was revenue?
Revenue and cash sponsorships. We have 11,000 rolling over, close to 12. Our goal next year is to have that rollover be exactly 50, which would match our line item. I don't want to really touch the special speaker series. We kind of coincided that with Startup Week, given the timeline that we were looking at. But I'd like that to kind of be separate and standalone from Startup Week, as it was intended. This year, though, with Vicente Fox being such a big get, we decided to use it specifically for this week.
Were you expecting revenue from the speaker?
We were expecting probably a little bit more.
Before we got Fox?
Oh, no, we were not. Yeah.
So,
No.
So that was just gonna be, something that we're gonna spend 22.
Yeah.
Regardless of whoever.
Yeah, and that wasn't just on one, that was just, we could spend it on one, we could spend it on four. Like when we created that line item, it was specifically for any special speakers that we'd want to bring in for. To 30 in cash sponsors. We were expecting to get some more, but I didn't think it would be that much more, which was great. I know with Arca Continental Coca-Cola, they were on the fence as to just doing another in-kind in product like they did last year. And then finding out that it was Fox, and given Fox's history with the company, they got really excited and then came in at that 15,000 in cash and almost 6,000 in product.
So I guess it almost paid for itself, but.
Hyperlocal, and we paid for it significantly, probably about 3 times as much. And kind of in seeing the interaction with the crowd and also seeing what some in-kind food sponsors had provided, I think we can get a little bit more innovative in that approach and bring that cost back down to match what 2024's numbers were like. We still want to provide food, but I don't think we need to be as grandiose as we had but this last year. If you came to eat anytime that week, you were never hungry and you were eating really well and really local. And we can kind of match that, but at a lesser degree. Yeah, that's my presentation. Any other questions?
Test. I think we lost audio again, so I'm just wanted making sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. She might have some comments on this in particular, but I kind of wanted to ask, so we know we're getting a lot of visitors. Obviously, food is provided. You covered that. I guess, because what I'm trying to gauge, and like, I get it, you have like learning lunches type of food available and stuff like that. But I'm assuming that if there was this programming here at eBridge, that a lot of the people that came to visit are like using the parking around this area, like paying for parking or paying to use the parking garage, correct? Like I'm just thinking about like added contribution to the city.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but we don't,
As well as walkability. Also, like when Her Texas took over, they went downtown. So they went to Dodici's, they went to Crosshatch.
We actually, I think I have a photo in here. We had them hang out at Crosshatch for half of, maybe I didn't use one of the
And so they
photos.
were going to Main Street Deli, they were going to other.
Half the
that's
day
what-
of Friday was at Crosshatch to allow us to flip the room upside down for our demo day. So that way we didn't have to kind of halt operations, and also just got them to get out and explore. Given it was Her Texas, they also wanted to patronize a lot of women-owned businesses, and all the women-owned businesses on the first floor of Crosshatch are women-owned. So that was another kind of cool thing to link up. Last year, and I apologize I didn't get ready for this presentation, but last year we did do a place-your study on businesses within the downtown area and any visitorship or impact they received. Like Chirinas, I know, got like, and Las Rambas got some like high foot traffic compared to last year. I can get that ready and just send it in an email for y'all to see after this.
yeah, I'm just thinking about like the meeting between the meetings that were happening in these like local
Yeah.
areas in downtown here. So thanks for elaborating.
I just want to say, I mean, congratulations. I was very impressed with the activity. I mean, the energy that this conference brings, I think is very unique to the skill set that BCIC has and the investments it's made. And I know that you and your team work really, really hard to pull that off. So
Thank you.
So very proud to see all of you doing some great work. And I think it's hard to explain it if you haven't gone through it to people, because I would tell people about it and like, what's that? What is it? And like, look, they got an app, they got this. And once people started looking at the websites and the content, they're like, man, this is really incredible. When has this been happening? And I'm like, you know, pay attention. There's a lot of cool things happening in Brownsville, and BCIC is an integral part of that. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you. And also on that note, while we had Wednesday and Thursday were like off campus, Wednesday we still had a partnership with Origo Works to do a state of real estate for Cameron County here. So it was still active. And then on Thursday, we worked with the city to do our entire permitting workshop, the What the Permit series, with PUB and City of Brownsville's planning department, which is really good. And we're going to do that again in July, just that specific series. We're just waiting for the updated ASALA training to take place. Did we get audio back? Dr. Gowan, I hope you got some of that. I just wanted to see if you had any questions before I moved on.
I didn't get any of it, but go ahead, Nathan. I just got the sound now.
Okay. I wrapped up the presentation for Startup Week. We had about $11,000 roll over. We're going to try to.
I heard that part.
Okay.
It's okay. Don't
Okay.
stop for me.
Cool. Thank you. No.
Dr. Gowan, can we go and do item 5, and then we can move to the strategic plan as requested? Just that way Stephen can do his presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna need to sign out at 7:20-ish, but I may lose the sound, so but if you could, that would be great.
Okay. All right.
Items for individual consideration. Item 5, discussion, consideration, and acknowledgement of the May 2025 financial reports.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Muse with the city's finance department. I'll be going over your financial report for the month of May, for the fiscal year up to the month of May. So we'll start with the balance sheet. Here you'll see your cash at $490,000, your investments, primarily in investment pools and money markets, totaling about $16 million. Your accounts receivable at $678,000 for total assets of $17.2 million. You have pending payments of $28,000. And then we'll go into our fund balances below that. You have restricted city agreements for $501,000. Your committed fund balance consists of big grants and quality of life, total of $10.5. And just below that, you can see the breakdown between big and quality of life. The assigned entrepreneurial and strategic initiatives and sponsorships, we have $100,000 there. And then the rainy day fund is still at $3 million. And the unrestricted or available fund balance is at 3.1 million currently. This next slide shows your fund balances over time, starting at the beginning of the year, of course. And then in March, you can see that diversion there where it switched from unrestricted to committed when you assigned the quality of life projects for the city of Brownsville. It was about 3.3 million, I believe. Any questions on this one?
A question about the age of these funds. These are like several fiscal years worth of funding, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'll move on to the next slide. Here we have our income statement, right? So our revenues and expenses. I do want to point out that the sales tax is through April. We did not have May's sales tax at the time to include in this report. So we're comparing April to April on that one line. So sales taxes came in at 4.6 million. Interest is currently at 450,000. It's a little bit lower than last year as interest rates have been cut a few times, and they're planning on cutting a couple more times this year, it sounds like. ADA and TAMU contributions at 260,000 currently. Sponsorship, 78,000. Contributions for the Dignity Trailer, 112,000. And then miscellaneous at 64,000. Below that, we have your expenses. Administrative costs at $1 million, eBridge Center operations, 168,000, and then strategic initiatives, we have the big grants, 564,000 spent this year, quality of life, 1.3 million, community development, 112,000, entrepreneurial and innovation, 456,000, discretionary, 94,000 for a total of 3.7 million, and the change in that position is an increase of $1.9 million.
Okay, you go over that really fast, and I don't want to delay us on anything, but I have a question about the sponsorships line items. That's money coming in, right?
Correct.
So when we look at, I'm looking at that 77,000 for 25 actuals, and I think 55 came from Startup Week. Is that a safe assumption?
I'd have to double check. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, so then the annual budget there, that's just like sponsorships. I'm confused about the actual budget piece of the sponsorships line items, I guess.
So the budget would be established based on what we're anticipating to receive throughout the whole year. And that can vary. A budget is an estimate usually, so.
But we're setting aside funds for sponsorships to give, I'm assuming, right? Is that
We're anticipating that much in revenue from those
Okay, yeah,
sponsorships.
okay. Oh, right, total revenues, okay. Interesting, okay.
I'm looking at, no, because he has EDA right above the sponsorship.
Is the E and I?
I mean,
Yeah, he has EDA above the sponsorship, so that, the sponsorships, I'm assuming is the 500,000 from GBEC. But that's still then 400,000 plus of where it's coming from. Yeah, no.
Something to consider in the
We can
budget.
look into that and follow up with more information on what exactly those sponsorships are from, and who's contributing to those. So I'll follow up with an email to the team. Any other questions on this slide? And here is our sales tax slide. The red line shows our actuals from last year. The blue line shows the actuals this year, and then the green is the budgeted amounts. So you can see even last year we were exceeding what we budgeted, right? And we budget 98% of 2 years prior, so that's what we're hoping to see, right? And then we're also seeing that our current year actuals are exceeding by 135,000 last year's amount, so we're trending in a good way right now. And then on the right side, you can see the historical totals, right? There you can see the amounts in blue are the actuals for the previous years, and the one right above that in green is the budget for this year. And that concludes our update. Is there any other questions?
Just, if you can go back to that sponsorship one,
Sure.
just to provide a clarification. Okay, yeah. So under his spreadsheet, he combines sponsorship, he combines the GBEC, he combines our business assistance program that we have with the city. So that's another 500,000. So that's where it's coming from.
Is that something the team would like to see separated
Yeah,
in
we
future?
had it. Yeah, because in our budget, we have it public funds,
Gotcha, okay. We'll try to synchronize on that.
but we can talk with,
This is like, so I guess I'm thinking about like funding we get per fiscal year, because I'm looking at your last slide with the different historical totals. I'm just, my question, my curiosity, and you don't have to answer right now, is just how much is usually carried over year after year? Like
So-
rollover, I suppose is.
Yeah, everything that exceeds that budgeted amount will be rolled over into unrestricted
From the
following
actual
year.
to the budget?
Correct.
Right, okay, thanks.
rollover also is any of our programs that we have allocated, because since it's reimbursement. So if, a lot of times they'll go, like for all the grants that we did last year, we're just now paying them out. So all those grants that we granted last year are rolled over.
I got you. So, but in looking at that line graph,
I think it's the next page.
I think it's the last one, maybe. Yeah, that one.
Sales tax.
Is that, so, but that actual amount is like what you actually paid out that year?
No, that's collection.
Yeah, these are our revenues.
Okay, yeah, all right, these are, okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
this is
I'm
our
getting them
collection.
confused. Sorry, thanks.
And so just FYI, we, for our budget year, starting this past year budget year, we are allocating 98% of what we collected the prior year. And before, we were very reserved, and we would base it like 4 or 5 years ago on our annual sales tax collection.
Correct.
Yes. And so we're just following suit from the city.
It's clicking.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Acknowledge the financial reports.
Second, Eva.
Aye.
Okay. Dr. Gowan, did you want to request to move to item 8, the strategic plan?
I did, only because I don't know how long this sounds gonna last, and I did wanna be a part of that discussion.
Is everyone okay that we move to item 8 for right now?
I'm okay.
Item 8, consideration and action on the 2025 through 2029 BCIC strategic plan.
Okay, let me just get my notes. Okay. Okay, so this is a collaboration from the workshop that we did last month with Travis James to kind of downsize what the consultants came up with. So with everybody's input, we have now, minimized our 5-year plan, and based on our 5 core goals. Our 5 goals are enhanced community well-being through quality of life projects and initiatives, strengthen entrepreneurship and small business support the revitalization of downtown Brownsville, strengthen collaborations and partnerships, and advance our organizational development. So goal 1 focuses on investing in quality of life. This includes building and enhancing our parks, our trails, and our public green spaces, especially if we can try to focus on the underserved areas of Brownsville. And this is really just being more of a partner with our 50% allocation with the city, having a more discussion with them. Can someone please open the door? So Key Light, we also are activating these spaces through events, placemaking, and further developing the sports park. Our undeveloped lands is what it's referencing to. So it not only promotes our wellness and pride, but also drives our tourism and sales tax revenue. So key highlights are, 6 new green spaces by 2029, 60% of our Type B funds directed, the allocation of the 50% directed to underserved areas. 50% of the land is activated at Brownsville Sports Park, and develop at least partnerships so we can start hosting regional tournaments at the sports park. Right now, we're really not utilizing the sports park with regional and state tournaments, so try to be in collaboration with the city to, help spur more tournaments there. Okay.
Okay, are we going to comment on each one? Or
Let's wait till the end. I'll wrap it up, and then we'll comment. On goal 2 is strengthening entrepreneurship and business support. So we're doubling down on our entrepreneurship with goal 2, from expanding our eBridge operations and launching our small business retention and expansion program to growing our angel investor network. We're positioning Brownsville as the hub for innovation. So we're also expanding the Big Style Grant program, so to go beyond downtown and support retail and second stage businesses. So the highlights for goal number 2 is serve 500 entrepreneurs annually, 250 jobs created by 2029, $1 million in EDA funds secured, and with that, we have 30 business funded through our revolving loan fund. On goal 3 is to support downtown revitalization. And so it's about, again, continuing our big grant program while supporting the renovations, mixed-use development, as well as new business recruitment. We also want to look at doing public art and community events to help with, the downtown activation and creating more of a vibrant destination. So the key highlights on that is by 2029, we'd have 60-plus properties improved with over $5 million in private investment leveraged, 25% in reduction in vacant storefronts, 4 community events hosted annually with 5 public arts projects by 2029. On goal 4, from launching the new parks to expanding our eBridge programming to hosting our first economic development summit. By 2029, we aim to, finalize our vision, our citywide green spaces, having eBridge as being a thriving innovation hub and reactivating downtown that reflects, what's our heritage and such. One thing I want to talk about is the key takeaways from this. So what's new from this strategic plan that we aren't already doing? So we're, having a formal push of the 50% of our Type B funds that the city allocates to be more of a collaborating partner. And so that way we can make sure that their focus is on, some of the focus on that 50% is on the underserved areas. Of course, this can always change once, the parks master plan is adopted from the city. And so we can always go back and, you know, tweak that to make sure that it lines with what comes out of that master plan. We want to definitely launch a small business retention and expansion program. And we want to look into how we could do a big style grant outside the downtown area to also activate key corridors in other parts of the area of areas of other districts, sorry. We want to definitely grow our angel investor network, just so that way we have, you know, we're not doing our Startup Texas pitch funds anymore, so we really are counting on our angel investor network to help with funding these new initiatives from our entrepreneurs. And then also having, you know, additional $1 million received from the EDA so it can replenish our revolving loan fund. Like I said, we do want to host assist with, you know, participating in tours, participating in collaborative marketing pieces. And then, of course, we want to focus on our disaster planning for our internal services. We want to support public arts. That includes murals, sculptures, and, of course, cultural events. We want to scale our Frontera membership, as well as, I've already talked about the discovery recovery. And then what we want to improve with our current plans is we want to continue, and we'll be talking about this in our executive session, is our prototyping lab. We want to scale that up from what we originally proposed 5 years ago for our prototyping lab. We want to have more partnerships and programming with our quality of life investments. We want to upgrade the big grant and focus on, you know, private capital leverage and longevity and mixed use. And we want to also re-examine our current guidelines and strengthen them to make sure that they're meeting our goals and that they're transparent and working for what the city needs and moving the downtown forward. We want to modernize our internal systems. We want to go out for a CRM platform because we do not have a project management tool yet. And we feel that will actually help us be more productive in our staff time, as well as being transparent for the board meetings, so we can collect that data that's needed for all of those KPIs that we have initiated in our strategic plan. And then we want to be aligned with GBEC and the city, as well as the nonprofit sectors. I think it's really important that we continue the conversations with the city and GBEC, you know, making sure that we are aligned with our funds, that we're leveraging each other's funding source and strengths. I think that's very important, so that way we truly can be one city. And then, as well as the one thing that we kept hearing from the nonprofits is they feel like they're in silos or not bringing back to the table. So we want to be able to see how we can fit in their needs as well. So expected impact by 2029 is we'll have assisted 500 plus entrepreneurs annually. We'll have created 250 jobs through the eBridge. We have collaborated, funded 6 green spaces, 60 plus downtown properties, improved 25% storefront vacancy reduction. We've leveraged $5 million in capital, $1 million in our new loan programs, 30 participants from our Frontera leadership, and 90% staff efficiency improvements. So now we can go for questions. Rose, are you still there?
I am. If everyone wouldn't mind if I could have say my comments first, because I may lose you in a second now. Would that be okay with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to publish something to the general public that says we're going to deliver all of this and then fall tremendously short. So my opinion.
KPIs only?
Yeah,
Can you go back to the other slide?
yeah. Because strategies is how we're
Where
gonna
that
get there.
shows kind of the four things, it doesn't matter, that goal, any of,
These are just the highlights,
KPI is the one.
Right.
KPI is the one that we don't want to adopt
The
now,
KPIs are
and
the ones that we want to
strategies
adopt,
have to get
okay.
there,
So the
we're doing-
goals, the objectives, and the strategies.
Right, in other words, I don't wanna say that we're gonna improve the storefronts by 25% and do, I don't know, there was one with like 60 a huge number of entrepreneurs or big programs.
So
We
hold
don't
on the
know that.
KPI.
We don't know that we have the resources to do that at this point.
Do you have any
I-
comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a comment on this, on, like, I feel like on objective number one, the enhanced community well-being. I think one strategy that is missing to add to that is the support that we provide for nonprofits to continue or expand their services to the community. We have it, right now, we treat that as part of the quality of life, because as we improve these nonprofits' performances, that trickle into the community and, you know, the service that they provide. I mean, just a comment, and it's open for discussion. And the other strategy that I think could be very helpful when it comes to downtown, in addition to what we have here, is to add training in historic preservation tax credit. I think that's a tremendous resource that most of our community is not tapping into, because they don't know about it or don't know how to do it. So I think if BCIC can find and come up with a good training for the community, for the stakeholders, for the developers, for the ownership, to actually start tapping into that, will alleviate some of the stress that we are facing every time we having these grants coming in, but also it will help those ownership to actually take advantage of that. It's about 45% of
Yeah, it's
cost
45.
that could be credited to them. And I can tell you, very minimum amount of people, individuals who own these properties can take advantage of that. So it's just a suggestion that strategy could be added to the downtown and support of the NGOs or the nonprofits to continue their service or expand it, enhance it into the goal number one.
I think it's in the partnership.
Those are great points.
I do too.
Who's next?
I think that I both, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a motion for what she suggested, but after your comment.
I agree with both Rose and Murad. I mean, it has substantially, the strategic plan has substantially improved. It's more actionable. I still think there's a lot in there that can be done. And I agree with the KPIs that, like, you know, I mean, well, let's start with something broad with the goals. So like the first goal, I feel like there's a lot of overlap with the city. I mean, I don't know if that's really a goal, you know, like, I mean, shepherding or collaborating or suggesting, I don't feel like these are really actionable things that we can really measure, and maybe not even something that, you know, maybe we should just, you know, be like in a more advise and consent role. You know, the city has their master plan, there's plenty of work that is gonna come from it. And I think, like, you know, if the board wants to say, well, I mean, everyone is underserved,
Yeah.
right? So how do you define that? Maybe we can make some suggestions here and there. I just don't know how that, like, we as an organization can really have that as a goal and a KPI solidly.
I like
And
the
then-
objective in that goal. Sorry, go ahead.
You mean that there's a couple other parts to that. I mean, like, the first part is about the city stuff. The second part, I think it's just more about activation in space. I don't really know what exactly that necessarily means. Like, where are we activating spaces and what are we going to do? It's not very clear to me what that means and how we're going to measure that.
I'm sorry, what I'm saying is I think that's why I think the goals and the objectives are good, but like what you're commenting on right now, activating public spaces is a strategy and the KPI, right? Like
Oh, so like really it's like the title and then the first sentence.
the objective. Well, no, I mean, there's more
But then there's
too,
like the
but-
individual ones, like,
Yeah, let's.
Well, we did do this in the workshop, didn't we? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that.
I think
So-
like you do need to have strategies because you can't just say, there is my goal, that's my objective without identifying strategy. You need to have the strategy to get there.
And so this is
But
the
the
one about
KPI, that I agree
activating.
with Dr. Gown, that we shouldn't, like, we should hold on that. So, I mean, you're right, I think that's like, there is that overlap with the city, but also we can, and correct me if I'm wrong, to add to that. By, like, those unrestricted funds, we can start looking into specific projects that could fill a gap that we identify as an organization and work side by side with the city. So the city has its own project, but we, through this whole other strategies that we're doing, inputs from the community, collaboration, partnership, we might be able to identify a certain project or a certain area of town that is still not well-served or underserved after all what the city is doing, and we tackle that with our own funds, because we have that kind of unrestricted amounts that we don't know yet what to do with.
Yeah.
So that open opportunity for that. The city have their own public events throughout the year. We might add one or two to kind of complement that and make it even much more strong, or contribute to those events and make it more impactful. So this is how I see it. Like, we can, yes, the city is taking the lead, but BCIC could fill up the gap and come up with their own initiatives, support that will make it even much more powerful and much more impactful.
Right.
So
And
I hear
staying,
you, but there are ways to do it.
and staying at the top level with the goals, like, the strategic partnerships, I don't know if that's like a goal in itself. I feel like that's more of a process, right? Like, that's something that, if we want to get to from point A to point B, then, maybe we need a strategic partnership, but as a goal in itself, it seems pretty, it's like, a goal is very lofty, and this feels very low. It doesn't feel like a goal. Like, meeting with the city, is that a goal? Or is that like an objective or a strategy? It was one of the KP. But I mean, meeting with the city or GBIC or both, it's just a matter of course of what we do, right?
I think it's, to your point, Mark, I understand what you're saying. On the other hand, on the flip side, I have seen my experience in the city, it's important to write those things down, and I'll point to things that have happened between PUD and the city. It's important to formalize that we will work together, even if it's not necessarily specific, because it reminds people and the board members and commissioners and the public that it's not just something we understand, but it's actually something we're serious about.
Okay.
I also
Right, and I think that's what Tracy was saying about Goal 5, which was the organizational development.
I mean, as far as like the goal 4 with the partnerships, I know when we did do the workshop, I know you weren't able to make it, but a lot of things ended up being something that we could collaborate or partner with, and that's how I think that ended up a key goal, just as like some background information.
So, the other thing is like, there's some things in here where like expanding big to other corridors. I can't think of any other corridors. And
That would be something that we first initiate. What would it look like? Can we do it? How would that look like? And, what benefits would it be for the community and that corridor? What impact would it be? So it's
Well-
not saying we will, we want to look into to see if it's possible, because there has been, responses from the community saying, why don't you help this area? Why don't you do this? So we want to just investigate if we can have an impact with our big, or some type of big program in other corridors.
I mean, I feel like other corridors may need different tools, and I don't want to go in
It
with a
may.
hammer and say, well, we got this really awesome hammer, so let's go and figure out where we can use it.
Yeah.
I mean, but actually, I don't even think it necessarily is awesome. We've had big for 6 years. How long has it been? 7 years?
5 years, yes. 5 years.
And, the downtown development is pretty slow. It's been slow. And like businesses, what I've heard from some of the people in downtown is like, it's hard. It's hard doing business. They're open half the week. I think like, we need to pivot and say how much, or when is enough? When are we going to say, what else can we do to juice foot traffic in downtown, to juice the economy in downtown? And I just don't want us to be like pigeonholed into like, okay, we got this, one-trick pony, let's just keep going and keep doing it. I want us to figure out what other things we can do for downtown.
So I mean, I hear you, and I know you have that concern for a while now, and this is not really about that. This is more about, are we good with what we are kind of putting together here as a strategic plan? Now, the argument goes specifically with the big is like, if you remember 5 years ago, there was nothing happening in downtown until the city invested in the marketplace, the market, the what do you call it, the market building.
Market
right?
Square.
Market Square, I went blank. And then from there, things started to evolve, and now 5 years, I think we agree, yes, it's slow, but there is momentum, right? And we're not in a position where we can pull that rug yet, right? Like there is still need to be support. We still haven't activated all of the second floors and so forth and so on. So, I mean,
It's a
that's open for discussion and elaboration, and I think that's where like strengthening it or coming up with a better way of doing it. I agree with you, but it's not like we should shut it down. But I guess this is not the argument for today. The argument today is like, are we good with these big goals and strategies, and then we can look into how we can, make these things, come up with ideas of how the metrics and all of that. I think that's what Dr. Gown is referring to.
I think so. I mean, I think that, to your point, Mark, yeah, it may be that, it's kind of like when we did Ciclovia, and then we moved Ciclovia around the city, and each time we moved it to a different part of the city, it looked a little different, it had a different flavor, we used different planning tools and such, and that's okay. That's okay, but
I feel like there are a lot of ways that we could do that. And I don't know if I mean, I haven't had a chance to thoroughly read this from cover to cover, but are there other instances? I mean, the tax credit's not in there, but are there other instances where we're looking for outside funding coming into Brownsville, where we're either trying to get it directly ourselves, or are we getting it for other people, for other businesses, helping, say, nonprofits capture grants from outside? Has that been considered?
With that part of the support, we can, I mean, that's why I put it in a big in a big.
It's very broad.
Support, because it
Okay.
could be support by us giving the money or support by starting to identify grants that
Yeah.
we can help them, hey, this is
Yeah.
the grant you can apply for and so forth. So the support here is like very kind of broad, whether we directly give the money, as we've been doing, or we start identifying revenues, like you're saying, that they could tap into outside of BCIC.
So if I can add to Murad and also Mark, and remember, Ava, one of the things we identified, obviously, when we gutted, because that's what we did, we gutted this strategic plan, and one of the things we identified that BCIC acts as a partner or as a service, as a support, and that's the one thing that we identified. Is that correct?
That's
I mean, we were
correct.
all there.
Yes.
So that is what we use to kind of gut a lot of the fat on this strategic plan. At the end of the day, I think it's a pretty good roadmap. It gives us the flexibility and adaptability to pivot
Yeah.
if we need to, but it needs to move forward at the end of the day.
And this was just, when we had the workshop last month, but when we had the workshop last year, when we did our little post things on the board, I mean, these were the things that came up with. So we're just downsizing what could be in our wheelhouse.
Correct. But I did want to highlight that,
Yeah,
we
appreciate
did kind of, we're scratching our heads and we realized, like, wait, we can't do that because that's the city function.
Yeah.
Or we can't do that because that's GBIC, or we can't do that because.
We're
well,
not
wait
the
a minute,
lead, but we support it. We're not the lead, but we
Absolutely.
support it.
There was a whole section, I'm sure you remember, Mark, about housing, and we took that down because like we already have to.
Yeah,
big,
Hey,
CBC
hey,
does
guys,
that.
And Housing Authority doing
I
it.
have some comments from Dr. Gowan. The strategic plan is a living document, just like any plan. It can have amendments and changes as time goes on. Today is to vote on the big sections, and the rest we can adjust and amend. There are things coming up that we need a document for. We can fine tune as we finish the budget.
And the KPIs what
That's
we
pretty
want to do
accurate
is
to what I said, yeah.
every budget year, we go, okay, this is what we have for our plan for 2027. Here are the KPIs and here's our budgeting allocation. So it can pivot a little, but this is just an overall giving us a roadmap, like you said.
Absolutely.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the strategic plan's goals and strategies without the KPIs.
I second that.
Yes.
Can we add this?
Did you hear Eva?
Oh, yeah, I added the strategies.
No, no, I'm in general in agreement with everybody. I think this is a good plan, and we can make adjustments accordingly moving forward.
Okay, so motion and second, all approved.
Can I have a comment just to, like, I'm gonna sound like, just to make sure that we are also including the two strategies that I mentioned in terms of downtown and the enhanced community well-being through the support of nonprofits, and the downtown strategy through the training and for the historical preservation tax credit. Thank you.
Are you okay with amending your motion to say that?
Yes, I amend my motion to include those two strategies.
And whoever seconded, are you okay to second it that way?
Yeah.
I am. Second, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
I'm gonna sign out now, guys. For fear I'm gonna lose you 10 more times.
Bye.
You guys take it away.
Do you by any chance want us to just stay for item 9?
I mean, I've lost you 3 times
I know.
in the last 5 minutes, so I'll stay for 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it all the way.
Item 9, just because she can provide some city background on it.
Executive session?
Yeah.
Motion to open executive session?
We have to make a motion to get into closed session.
She made the motion, I second it.
All right, go ahead and read item 9.
Item 9, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney 551.072, property deliberation, and 551.087, economic development negotiation related to Project Old Alice.
Go ahead and do 10 and 11 too.
Item 10, closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 551.71.
We're going to do 9, 10, and 11. Just-
Consultation with attorney related to big rental investment program participants. And item 11, closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, property deliberation related to Project Blueprint Lab.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened to Raphael. I think he stepped out of the bathroom, but let me. Okay.
I guess we can vote though, right? On exiting executive session?
Yeah.
There was a motion, there was a second, non-voting
Are we ready?
in executive action.
Yeah. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 12.
All right, item 12, consideration and action, if any, included but not limited to the adoption of board resolutions related to the items discussed in executive sessions. 12.1, Project Old Alice. 12.2, Big Rental Investment Program. 12.3, Project Blueprint Lab.
Ava, I think you were ready, right, to make a motion on something?
Right, for item 12.2.
Okay, yeah.
That was the one that I remember.
So that would be the action, if we move forward on the commitment and then authorize myself to how we pay the commitments as this,
That's
as
it.
options that were discussed during executive session.
Yeah, I like that one. Make a motion to, well, I'll do it. I'll make a motion to approve, to move forward with the presented commitment and give the authority to the executive director to explore different options, right?
With regard to Project Old Alice or?
Yes.
all
Yes,
three
we are on 12.1.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to be
That's-
as vague.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Secretary.
So let me just kind of reword that again.
It's right here. It's gonna be this, so we're gonna approve this amount,
So you're amending it.
yeah. And then that's the discussion we had on GBEX. And then,
You want to make the motion?
yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'm going to rescind my motion, and then Secretary's going to just clean it up a little bit and
Yeah,
move forward.
Thank you, Cesar. Okay, I make a motion that we proceed with allocating BCIC's 500,000 towards the Old Alice property insurance. In addition to that, exploring applying GBIC's existing $500,000 commitment to BCIC towards this initiative, and then initiate the required public engagement and city approval process.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes, is that correct?
Wait,
Aye.
Murad.
1, 2, 3.
Did Mark?
Motion does
Mark,
Mark said aye, yeah.
motion passes. Moving on to 12.2.
The big investment. This is yours.
And I believe, yeah, this is Ava's.
This is the one I was, so for this, I motion to proceed as discussed in executive session. And then, depending on actions necessary to secure evidence for
Yeah.
notice. Thank you.
And bring it back to the board.
And bring it back to the board in July, please.
I second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 12.3, Project Blueprint Lab,
No action, as recommended.
no action as recommended.
All right, we just have 2 more items.
I gotta run. Is it okay? You guys got this?
1, 2, 3, 4, yes. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
What? Okay. Go back to item 5. Or sorry, item 6? We'll get through this, Ruth.
Okay, item 6, consideration and action to enter into a performance agreement with the following 2025 Startup Texas Emerging Industries graduate to utilize the Startup Texas Advancement Fund, a reimbursement grant to A. O'Shawn Cruz of Reware AI in the amount of $10,000. B. Rodrigo Berberg of carinspections.io in the amount of $7,270.
All right, board members, as you all know, you approved of the guidelines for the last Startup Texas Advancement Fund. We made it a reimbursement-based grant. Allowable expenses, the only thing we added on last time is we did allow them to use up to 25% towards marketing. This is just a brief description of the scalability, support, and our market expansion. This aligns with our goals to ensure that the public funds are invested in targeted impactful areas. And this is also now a reimbursement grant based off our changes to the existing fund for Startup Texas. So we have Reware AI. They develop an AI-powered app that automates clothing resale listings and analyzes images with generating descriptions and prices. Given kind of the big vintage market here in our area, this is really great to assist them on posting their stuff on multiple platforms and boosting income despite low local demand. They have 6 different milestones, and they're actually utilizing all $10,000 for the grant itself. They're going to be setting up their dev environment. They're going to be filing a USPTO trademark. They're integrating certain APIs and launching their beta app. They've actually already launched it, so they're already ahead on that. They're going to go to a few conferences, or trade shows rather, to showcase their new app. And then they are tapping into that 25% marketing that we've allowed. Any questions before I move on to the second? Okay. Second, we have carinspections.io. The best way I can describe this is it's like the Uber for car inspections. My sister lives in Los Angeles. She's moving to Dallas for the first time back to Texas in 10 years. She's looking to buy a new car. There's a used car in Dallas that she likes. She logs onto this website, tells them the new used car that she likes. A mechanic will go in person to visit that car, run a full diagnostic, and then provide her with the information, and then she can decide if she likes the price or if she wants to lower the price based on what that mechanic found. They're already in the beta testing launch. We actually got to play around with the app last week. These are their milestones to set up the technical enablement. They've got some cybersecurity kind of penetrative testing that they would like to do, market research, and they're also going to be tapping into that $2,500 expense for marketing and acquisition of customers, as well as the mechanics as well. They've already hired 5 here in the Valley. If you notice, though, they're not tapping into the full $10,000 because some of their expenses that they submitted were not allowable, because we really want our funding to go specifically to scalable operations. They are applicable so long as there's funding to apply for the remaining 2,500 or so that's left, if we still have funds available for them. But in this case, we only accepted 7,000 worth of their application. And that's it.
That's a cool concept, yeah.
It is really cool. It's very cool. He's here a lot. If you ever want to meet him, just come by.
It's on his page, he did a great job.
Yeah, he won first place at the pitch competition. But unfortunately for him, he didn't get $40,000 because we changed the funding rounds.
This is reimbursable, so where you all solicit like backup documentation?
Yes,
with
they
your
have to
invoices?
provide all the backup information, all of their receipts, everything.
And it includes like a staff, I guess, operations or like them?
It does.
Okay.
Some of them, the staff is a staff of one. I know with him, he has the ability to hire a couple part-timers, but the others, we're not committing them to that because they're not at that level yet. Quick caveat, for this cohort only, we have allowed them to go as far back as January for their reimbursements, only because it took so long for them. They graduated in February, of this month, of this year, excuse me. They graduated in February, but they're only now applicable for the grant, and they've been waiting this long, and some of those expenses have been incurred. Not all of them, but some of them have. For this one cohort, we've allowed that, but I believe at the end of this month, anyone who has not already applied won't have that benefit.
No more questions. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve 6A and B.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. I believe item 7, right? And then
Yes.
comments?
Item 7, consideration and action to approve the following fiscal year 2025 Business Improve and Growth BIG Rental and Reinvestment and Rehabilitation Grant applications for the following, A through E.
In the last board meeting, the board has asked for an overview of the BIG program, just a refresher of what BIG is. And I'm presenting on behalf of Eric. He's on vacation this week. So just a quick introduction of the program overview. It's BIG is our cornerstone for downtown revitalization, designed to reduce startup costs, restore historic spaces, as well as increase the economic activity in downtown. And so we have 2 core program components. That's our rental reinvestment program. That's our rent subsidy for the startups, as well as our property rehabilitation program. And then, of course, the target area is within the BIG boundaries, which encompasses all of downtown, from International to the frontage road to 6th Street. We encase a little bit of Palm Boulevard all the way down to St. Charles and back. And then we also do Elizabeth Street all the way down to Central Boulevard. So it has a little arm on that. And the reason we chose that was to help with, activation of those areas, because we did see there's historic buildings throughout the area, and there's also a lot of vacant buildings. Next page. So a little overview of our rental reinvestment program. So we provide up to $1,250 a month in rent reimbursement. So that's $15,000 annually. We target new, expanding, and relocating businesses in the downtown area. They have to be in operation 3 to 6 months before they're eligible to apply. And then the project agreement is for rental assistance for 12 months, and it is a reimbursement. So they have to show proof of them paying their landlord each month, and then they submit an invoice as well. So we do need that documentation. Let's see. Has 8 years of experience running his other family-owned business. So he's been very popular in downtown. We actually have ordered pizzas for our events in our staff meetings as well. The second one is Studio X. It's located in the Crosshatch Coca-Cola building. The applicant is Monica Rivers. It's a multimedia marketing. And so they actually have 3 full-time and 1 part-time employees, They opened in February. Their annual rent is $36,900 for the year, which equals to $3,075 monthly. Their request is for the full amount of $15,000 for the whole year, which equals to $1,250 a month. Their plan for the reinvestment of the funds that they get reimbursed is to have more equipment and set design. So Monica has over 30 years of experience in the retail and service industry as owner. Her idea for her podcast is she wants to do storytelling of other entrepreneurs in Brownsville as well as nonprofits and other community leaders. Next is our standard rehabilitation program overview. So this is a 50-50 matching grant. We fund up to $25,000 for facade, $35,000 for interior upgrades. Eligibility includes brick restoration, MEPs, which is your mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and soft costs like soft costs like your architectural designs and permitting. What is not eligible is like your roof repair. We don't do HVAC. We don't do grease traps, flooring, carpeting, any aesthetic, furniture, equipment, and all that is not eligible. So we do have one application for the standard, and this is at 609, 611, and 615 East Washington Street. Hector Zavala is the applicant. He's the one who owns Morning Glory as well as Main Street Deli. Total square footage of the combined 3 units is over 2,000. He wants to turn it into a restaurant called Glorious Nights. It will be operating lunch and evening hours. So his grant request is $11,400 for exterior and $35,000 for interior.
Isn't that right next to Morning Glory?
Yes. Yeah, so this was a city property. He has purchased it from the city. And so what he wants to do is a full installation of water and gas lines, complete overhaul of electrical throughout the space. He does need to do some structural modifications because he's combining the 3 parcels into one. And then the facade, which I thought I didn't have a chance to ask Eric, but the facade includes brick installation, outdoor lighting, restoration of the transom windows, as well as exterior doors. But on this picture for the conceptual, it includes awning. And Hector did not include that in his request. So I thought that was, I just caught that on Friday. I was like, didn't see that in the request, but I see it in his conceptual. But again, his request is a total of $46,400. No, it's just a partial. Because that's it right there.
Supposed to be the after?
Yeah, that's supposed to be what the
They're gonna let him do that?
Yeah,
I mean,
It's-
isn't he changing the facade?
it looks like,
The original facade had brick.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
It was added on.
So, oops, let me go back again.
Yeah,
Oops, I'm going way back.
so that
Just like the building he has right now.
that was probably like in the 70s or something, that
Yeah,
they did some crazy
they
stuff,
did
right?
some
70s.
really messed up stuff.
It's like a plaster, right, is what it is?
Yes.
It was about like modernization downtown. We were trying to just kind of on the brick. It was for all,
Yeah,
like, or fill all, like the one we can on and just stack over.
yeah. So it's gonna be,
Lipstick on the pig, bro.
I mean, Hector has 2
Still
successful
a pig.
establishments in downtown, so a third one that's very ambitious of him, and I think he'll do really well on that. So next, a little overview of our extensive rehabilitation program. And so this one is more of a catalytic approach, is we're trying targeting properties that could, once it's rehabilitated, it revitalizes that corridor, that block. However, our grant guidelines don't really specify what that means. So anyone could be eligible for this. So that's something we want to examine and come back to the board. But for right now, what extensive rehabilitation is, it offers up to $200,000, requiring a 20% match from BCIC. It does support HVAC compared to the standard does not. And it encourages second floor activation and projects that can take up to 2 years with this grant. Excuse me. So again, ineligible costs are roof repairs, grease traps, flooring, carpeting, asbestos. We do soft costs, again, encouraging the second floor activation. That's really important for us with this grant, and expand unusable square footage. There is a caveat. The person who goes in with this, if it needs to be 100% occupied by the time the project is complete. So they need to have a letter of intent from, if they have more than one suite, that they have it already occupied. It ran out. Give me 2 more minutes.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So this applicant is at 634 East Levy Street. The applicant is Solaris Management Solutions. It used to be the Great Western and Renfro Law Office back in 1959. Square footage is a total of 7,000. It has a second story. You can't see it from the street, but there is a second story in the back. So the ground use is 2 suites. There's already a commitment for a retail and a restaurant. The second floor will become Solaris headquarters. They did own the First National Bank there in the corner of 7th and Levy, but they sold it. So their headquarters, right now they need to find a headquarters for their employees, which I believe is roughly about 16 employees that they have. The new one that just opened up, and I can't think of its name. Yes, so he owns quite a few buildings.
So you said they're gonna have 2, is that?
Yes, that's what the conceptual will look like. So the interior improvements include a full installation of water lines and electrical system, fire system installed on both floors, a total HVAC installation, facade, brick restoration, awning installation, outdoor lighting, security cameras, and exterior doors.
So all of that qualifies?
All of it qualifies.
What doesn't qualify?
What doesn't qualify is really, like, he has an atrium in the building and he has glass, so that did not qualify. Those glass, it's 2 stories up, that doesn't qualify, and that's a considerable cost. We didn't look at that, as we're trying to stick to more of structural and MEPs. It's an existing atrium, so he's just replacing the glass. It's already existing.
So it's cosmetic?
Yeah, it's a cosmetic. And then we're also not, any flooring we won't do. We will do like the walls and the plastering and the painting of the walls, but we won't do the flooring on that, because a lot of times they have to rip off and I don't think this one has it, but we have pictures I mean, they have to rip out the walls to put new electrical and also to configure the 2 suites on the ground floor.
I guess we determine what the qualify or doesn't qualify.
We do, yes.
This is substantial work that needs to be done. I'm not saying, in general, this is, if you have an atrium, I think it's admirable that they try to keep the atrium.
Yeah. Well, his,
But then to keep the atrium, you need to bring it to code, and part of the code requirement, I mean, I'm just speculating, is to, replace the windows, replace the
Yeah.
glass, all of that, security, safety, all of that good stuff. So it goes back to my argument about, the preservation, Texas, historic preservation.
Yeah.
Credit card, tax credit, because this could qualify for that, and they could have that money for it. And actually, if they've done it correctly, that might be a requirement to do, to
Yeah.
keep the atrium and keep all of that. So, anyway, I mean, just for the future, we need to a little bit more diligent of deciding what qualifies, what doesn't qualify.
I have to
Maybe-
tell you that
maybe we talk with
their
consultants.
request was for 124,000, because he was taking the total project cost and then taking the 20%, and that's what he was asking for us.
Yeah.
And, but that, because really we just limited to what is in our guidelines. And so that was the MEPs, anything exterior, fire, anything with a fire.
Yeah, my question
Yeah.
is, for the guidelines, when do those come up for renewal?
What we want to do is, I'm going to say, we're shooting for August, but between either August or September, we want to come back with revised guidelines. There's just things that we want to elaborate more, and then we want to look
Yeah.
at how we can strengthen it
Yes.
and see if there's room of improvements. Because again, this was a pilot program, and we've been tweaking it as we go, but this past year, we've really seen holes that could be filled.
Yeah.
And we can
The money.
also implement, how we can incorporate the tax credits. So how can we be creative with that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess my,
So can support that kind of guide owners to go through the rounds, right?
Yeah,
This is what we're expecting, if you want to apply for tax credits, so you encourage them, that will be part of the guideline.
yeah. And it just,
If they do it, great, but obviously they have to support that by
yeah.
providing workshops to, okay, this is how you do it, this is how you apply for it, this is that and that.
I agree with you, and I'm glad that you have a plan for this. My ask is that the board gets more than the 3 business days for the agenda to the meeting, because I think that sometimes, that's when it's harder, is to kind of have more time to digest the information so that we can also make comments for improvements.
And honestly, for this kind of, this is substantial work and substantial ask, 200,000 sometimes to qualify. I would think for this kind of ask, we need more detail than just one slide and one picture. I mean, say maybe more of as built or existing pictures and what's you know what I'm saying? They're trying to do it.
To tell the story.
It doesn't do us justice, we can't really tell from these little images
Okay.
of the amount, a floor plan would be good, I'm sure we have that, right, for this kind of work.
Yeah,
And if they don't, then they should,
they do.
because, that's substantial investment and it should be done correctly. So they should have all these as-built demolition plan, whatever interior elevation, measures, that will give us a better understanding of the scope of work and we decide.
I agree. I like that suggestion. Okay, so that is it. So currently, I have it on the left-hand side is the grant applications. I did separate it per request, because we do in the standard rehab, we have actually 2. We could do facade, and they can do interior, or they can do both. So I went ahead and separated it in our agenda. So right now, if awarded, our remaining balance is 407,000. So after this, yeah. So that would be, we have half of our budget still remaining.
Do you see anything in the pipeline?
I have to be honest, no. And I want to say it could be because of what's happening with, the economy and such, and, ICE.
Yeah,
the construction costs have gone up from what I've been told. So,
Makes sense.
but we're looking, and we have it, maybe something that won't be addressed in the next 3 months to, totally exhaust those funds, but we are looking at how we can utilize our property platform into how we can promote and try to bring some businesses to expand or relocate in downtown and identify properties that either could have a quick turnover and different levels in the property expense.
Can we use some of these same funds to kind of market these programs?
We put funds already in our marketing program for all of our programs.
I guess we have allotted funds for that,
Yeah,
right?
we've allotted it in our marketing.
Well, I'm just saying, if we want to build that pipeline, that you have to let people know. I mean,
Yeah.
and it costs money. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's really what I think the key issue is.
That's what you
It
have to
costs
do.
money to deliver these projects, these individuals that are investing.
It takes money to get them to come
Those
to commit.
who have the funds to invest, I think, are putting in.
Yeah. It's also, we've noticed, again, like summer months for our businesses is a
Slow.
struggle for downtown. It's a big plan, but great ideas, and really want to focus on how to improve downtown. They're going to be doing a passport for
I've been hearing
downtown.
that downtown master plan forever. It's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
that's why I chuckled, I'm sorry, but.
Yeah, but they're doing
Yeah,
a,
it's like, what? It's like an imaginary thing that we're chasing and it's never here,
yeah.
so.
But the
They
CVB
have the
is
right
doing a
person.
passport
Yeah?
for
Okay.
downtown. So that's, I think they're going to announce it this week. I think it's sometime this week. It's
But
a
just-
passport where if they visit all the different retail and dining options and businesses, they get a stamp on the passport, and then
A
if
free
they-
zoo pass or?
actually,
happening?
yes, they get some, there's some like levels of, yeah. They get some levels of free things, if they get so many stamps. So it's a start. Okay,
So just to be clear though, if we approve this, it's half the budget for the fiscal year 25, so we still have like 3 months left in the fiscal year and like half of the
July,
budget?
August, September, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
I would do a motion from A to E.
Anybody like to make a motion?
Motion from A to B to approve. A to E.
Motion by Eva,
I
motion to approve A through E, second by Sergio. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Motion passes.
next one's board comments.
Item 13, announcements.
Announcements. There, Gonzalez ribbon cutting Friday. The zoo zip line is having a ribbon cutting on the 7th of July. There's not a time yet, so I will let you know on the time. Nelson and Eric went already.
Eric's not here, I don't believe you.
I will also, Victoria and I will be reaching out to each one of you to have a one-on-one on our budget. So that way in July, at our board meeting, we will approve, hopefully, the budget. So we want to meet with each one of you.
Thank you, Corey, sorry.
It's okay. It happens. All right.
Item 14, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, Eva?
All those in favor?
It's
Aye.
8:39. All right, we're done.
Thank you.